Everybody ready? I'd like to welcome everybody to our April 12th Daviess County Council meeting. We'll get started. The first thing, we'll do roll call. Tony Duncan.
Here.
Tom Schaefer.
Here.
Darren Holder.
Here.
Marilyn McCullough.
Here.
Mike Sprinkle.
Here.
And Mike Myers will not be with us today. Let's take the time to do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On March 22nd, we had a joint executive session with the commissioners. If anyone has any questions on that, they can ask for that, but we just wanted to make sure that was publicly stated. Meeting minutes, has everybody had time to look over the March 9 minutes? Any changes?
Make a motion to approve?
Marilyn McCullough makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Tony Duncan. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Item number 3, magistrate application proposed resolutions. We had in the commissioners meeting, everyone was here. We heard from the judges on that situation. We do have documents for proposed resolutions, which will be passed out. Does anybody have any questions concerning that at this point? Of course, I submitted a letter on our behalf that we are in favor of that, and we'll have that. Does anybody have a motion to approve the resolution?
I move that we approve the resolution.
Motion made by Tom Schaefer. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Darren Holder. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. County travel policy. With the cost of fuel, things going up to that effect, we wanted to review our mileage rates and have that discussion. It was approved at 42 cents. At last year's September meeting. Is that something we wish to discuss now, or just for informational purposes until further on?
It's actually coming down
Sorry,
pretty
come
decent
down.
right now.
Got a ways to go.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't doubt that. Yeah. We said we're at 42 right now,
We're at 42.
so 357, and it's just under $4 now, I guess, right?
That for those of us with diesel cars.
70-something in Plainville.
We can table that at this time. Any discussion?
I don't feel like we need to do anything right now.
So just table it for the future? Okay.
Want me to make a motion for
Yeah.
that? I move that we go ahead and table the mileage rate reimbursement.
We'll table that for now. Motion made by Tom Schaefer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike Sprinkle. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The next thing on the agenda was Blighted Properties. We met with the commissioners, we heard the commissioners. We have had our group that have, our core group, which is Nathan Gabhart from the commission, Marilyn McCullough and myself. We've met with city officials on that project. Is there any questions you had that you didn't hear in the previous meeting?
Well,
This-
go ahead.
no,
Nick.
Go ahead, Darren.
No, my only comment would be, I mean, if we're talking about, cooperating with with the city here and going out a couple of miles or so, out in the rural areas, there's places that obviously need to be addressed as well. Some are more remote than others, but my concern would be in key locations such as the tech park up in the north end of the county.
And part of that discussion is, it's not in that 2-mile radius per se. It's, we kind of have a graduated level of what that's gonna be, and then around municipalities, that would be included in that. So,
Okay.
it's everywhere in the county that we feel that needs to be necessary. It's not just a 2-mile radius of Washington. It has to be something that's good for the entire county.
Yeah, okay, because,
Nathan?
Yeah. Municipalities and
Yes.
Okay, okay.
We wanted to have a leash. And again,
My thing is who's going to determine blighted properties for the county? Will that be the commissioners? Will that be the road foreman? Who's gonna say, you know what, here's where we need to go and address this issue?
Well, the commissioners will set that ordinance that they specified, and then, you know, as we have complaints for that, then they'll address the ordinance in those areas. And then it goes by case-by-case basis to the commission, and so we can get some of those areas. They can determine then, you know, if it's really rural and it's, you know, it's a farm that we really don't need to, you know, mess with, or if it's in a high visibility area where we need to take care of it. Does that answer your question, Mike, at all?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there was some mechanism so that we know that, you know, the guys in the city may not know the Farland area where there is a big issue that needs to be addressed, and who's gonna call that attention to the folks that are gonna be implementing the ordinance. That was my concern.
So it's going to be a complaint-driven process. Ideally, we're going to really mirror Knox County. Knox County's put this in place about 2 years ago. We've got all their ordinances, their guidelines. We can then tweak them for ours. We do not want county-wide enforcement, especially not right now, not yet.
Sure.
Unless it's dangerous or whatever, then whatever. So, but right now, it's going to be really, call it the 2-mile radius of every municipality. Start with the first quarter of a mile of every municipality, every town, and that's where we're going to start. So Crane would probably hit an overlapping municipality somewhere, or a high visibility area, and we can actually define that with an ADT of 1,000 or higher, or whatever we need to do. Or it is an important area from an economic development, and then the commissioners can help guide that. What we don't want to do is have the city of Washington going out and, you know, enforcing this stuff, and it's not really something that's causing any issue. That's why the commissioners, so it's gonna be complaint driven. It'll go to the city, they'll vet it out, and then they'll send a list of properties back to the commissioners, say, hey, these are the ones we need to go after. We'll look at it, and we'll say, yes, you're right, go forward. If any constituents have any complaints, then they come to the commissioners.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So at this point, you know, you have that information. We're gonna meet again, and then we'll bring that information back to you at that point. Good information. Beth, this would be a salary ordinance amendment for the probation office.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for putting us on the schedule at such a short notice. It recently came to our attention that the salary for Emily, our newest probation officer, was incorrectly submitted during the circuit court budget hearings. Her salary should be $39,000, I believe. $39,699, and it was submitted as $36,879. This will be her 1 year of service. She was hired last year, so she should be at the 1 year level of salary. So we would just ask that that be amended.
Any questions for Beth? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved by Tony Duncan. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Tom Schaefer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion unanimous. Thanks, Beth. Appreciate it.
You wait an hour and 36 minutes.
They keep buzzing me to get through this. It's like faster, faster. All right, salary ordinance amendment, Jamison Hibbs. Good morning, Jamison.
How y'all doing?
Good.
I've been up to the podium twice in one day before. It's kind of fun. So salary ordinance amendment, due to, I'm sure what everyone's going through in most of the country right now, we've, apparently are not paying people enough, but, that's neither here nor there. One of the things we've done the past handful of years is we've kind of created a bit of a gap in our salary ordinance, and that was unfortunately not by design by any means, so I kind of want to fill that gap between our starting pay and some of our other tiered levels. I don't know if everyone has a copy of the amendments in front of them or not, but basically what I'm trying to do is having a starting pay of a little bit higher than what we were at 1072, I believe is what it was, just jumping that up to 1155, which was already an established amount. Going between 1155 and 1402, I'm just adding two more pay scales there at 1250 and 1325. That way I can actually maybe appropriately hire people that are somewhat qualified and give them a kind of a tiered pay scale as they stay with us and we retain them. So that's the only amendment I would request.
Any questions for Jamison?
And really, look at your numbers from cash flow standpoint. That shouldn't be too big an issue on your part.
No, not at all. No, not whatsoever. And if it can help us attract staff, it'll be even cheaper in the long run. Right now, I'm paying some of the higher level staff to do those positions.
Yeah, I don't see any problem.
I would move that we approve this change.
Okay, motion made by Mike Sprinkle to approve this salary ordinance amendment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Marilyn McCullough seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Jamison.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
James, Matt, I'd like to,
Yeah, absolutely.
Jameson's obviously going to be departing. Hate to see him go, but
Just don't know when yet.
We're not gonna let him go, so we're just gonna keep him coming back. We're gonna put him on the agenda every month.
there you go. All right, I like that strategy. But we were talking before the meeting started, and having a little bit of difficulty finding a replacement for you in terms of.
Yeah, we are, and just to keep everyone comprised of that, we have been advertising on several different national and state platforms, even out of state. So like the National Parks and Rec Association, Indiana Parks and Rec Association, Ohio, Illinois, governmentjobs.com, and I've been sending out information to a lot of the area universities or regional universities that have parks and recreation programs. I've sent it to several that have, pretty good business administration programs as well. We've had 5 applicants, but they are not qualified based on what our prerequisites are. And I'm sending all that information out to our hiring committee. That's part of the park board as well, so everyone has eyes on those applications.
So you'll be working. I mean, obviously dealing with the park board on it, but from the standpoint, you got the podium, so now's an opportunity to.
I think, yeah, right. I think and I've talked to a handful of folks in the Parks and Rec field asking, what I can do to make the position more attractive. And some of the issues we have, and of course, everyone has these issues, is as we advertise this in these platforms, obviously everyone's scrolling down, they're going to look at that starting pay. And right now, our advertised starting pay is between 45 and 50, which is about what I'm at right now. What they don't see, obviously, there are some great benefits of the job, which is including housing, utilities, so on and so forth. But a lot of those other very similar jobs, and especially in county parks and rec departments, they also have that housing available. I didn't bring that information with me. I'll be happy to find it. But the Indiana Parks and Rec did a study, I think it was last year, on just salaries based on the size of the departments. And based on our size in comparison to the rest of the state, we were about 20 to 30,000 below on average pay. And that wasn't just the director, that was for programming, for maintenance, for all across the board, for full-time staff. So I think that's one of the issues we're running into right now is whenever people see that salaried amount, they're just instantly turned off by it and moving on to something else. Obviously, the other unforeseens that we weren't expecting, or we are expecting, but it's really out of our hands, is the economy in the state that it's in. It's going to be hard to uproot your family, move somewhere else. If you're on a dual income as you are at that current location, you can't just have your spouse quit their job to move to, Daviess and Martin County. Unless they have an option down here. Unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of options for occupations down here unless you want to work at Crane. Or somewhere over here in Washington, or Du Bois, but then you're looking at a long commute. Gas prices, that sucks. So I think there's a lot of things, unfortunately, working against us at this current time, but I think we can maybe look into ways to remedy that. That's one of the things I've discussed this with our park board several times already as to why I believe we're not attracting several qualified candidates. And I think that's the main thing is it never, if you get on in our National Parks and Rec Association, you can go to careers and job search, you'll see that in comparison to what our job description is, we're probably one of the lowest paid positions on there. And that's national, you'll find positions on there across the nation. So without coming back to you with, more of an average and actual dollar amounts, I don't have those in my memory at the moment, but I can find that information if you'd like. Just for your information, if we need to look at different alternatives. I've tried to recruit several people that I know that would be applicable for the position, but they like where they are at. And that's fortunate turn of events for them. Because this would be, I've explained to them, it'd be a great time to sell your house at a great market value and move down here and bank that money, unlike me going into the worst market in history. But as is life. So I'm trying to recruit folks.
Well, we appreciate you staying around as long as you have. I know you're wearing 2 hats right now.
Yeah, happy to. Once the house hunt's over with, it won't be so bad to juggle both positions, but house hunting right now has been a pain.
But we very much appreciate you staying with us as long as you can and
happy
keep
to.
things rolling. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Jamison. All right, Luis, we have a salary ordinance amendment.
Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
So basically what we're doing is something that maybe it's being oversight from my part for the last budget, but we're not asking for any increase on the amount that we have for the summer position, but basically we just wanted to make it more enticing for someone to apply. And also what we wanted to do is just to increase it to $10 an hour for the salary, for the hourly rate for that position. Our biggest recruitment we're trying to do for maybe college kids. Some of them have the 4-H experience, and that's one of the things that we're looking for that person on the summer position. So we just wanted to get an increase from $8.24 to $10.
How many positions? Is it just one or is it more?
This one, it is what we have total is $5,000. So the person worked from the end of May to probably about the beginning of August, whatever time frame they have. And I mean, if we find 2 qualified candidates that we can split that amount, I'm willing to do that. Anything that we can do to help us out, especially this summer that we're down 1 staff, so we just wanted to make sure that we have that support. And if there's some of those kids that have some of that 4-H experience, they be able to help us jump in and help with whatever we need there at that point. So that's what we're looking for, just to increase that hourly rate.
What is it now?
It is $8.24, I think it is, and we just wanted to increase it to $10. Kind of justify their experience that they have with 4-H, and especially with some of those kids that are probably
To be market rate.
college students.
Any questions for Luis on that increase?
And it will be a college student?
Yeah, we're still looking for a couple of applicants, and yes, that's so far what we have applied.
I support that, then the wage increase up to $10 an hour for the summer help.
Yep.
College student.
So there's a motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Darren, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I did want to, Luis came before us last month and talking about replacing that position that Sylvia was in. I spent a little time with Luis and Lisa and went through the office and met with a lot of the staff there. Asked a lot of questions of Luis and how everything is, how the duties were mitigated, and was there cross-training, that kind of thing. Could we do with less, that kind of, could it be a part-time, could it not be a part-time person? And we talked a lot about that and the scope of duties. But one thing that Luis brought up that to me made a lot of sense was we talk about them being a high traffic position here. And he talked about going after, and part of that recruitment process is possibly bringing someone that was bilingual into that office. office to do that. We have a big need here, in, I think in county government, to be able to, assist. That person not only could do the duties that Luis has for that position, but could help out with, like if there was another office that needed that help, maybe Luis wasn't available to help that, he helps in the health department a lot. That we'd have another person that could help in that case. So I wanted to go ahead and run that through, and, that was a question Luis had last meeting. I fully support it, but I want to put that out for motion that we approve that as well. Or does anybody have any questions for Luis in that position? One thing in the future, I actually really enjoyed that process of talking with Luis, and I will, I'm going to recommend that we do that with a lot of the departments, and we'll break that apart because I think that's important to see what the needs and goals of each department is. And, be able, we get a little bit of time at budget season, but we really don't have a lot of time to spend. So I think between now and budget season, we have plenty of time to be able to meet with those departments. So,
Yep.
All right, can I entertain a motion for Luis?
So moved.
So moved by Tony Duncan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike Sprinkle. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thanks, Luis. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it for everything that you guys do for us. Thanks.
All right, we have additional appropriations. All right, County General Commissioners Workman's Comp. Is that the commissioners? Yeah. So that's a workman's comp. You see the notes on that. That was to cover additional cost of invoicing and budget. $150,000 was budgeted and already had claims paid out of that line as well. Any questions on that?
And do the one at the security center at the same time?
We can go ahead and do that as well. That is a jailer. You speak to that?
Which one are you talking about?
This is the officer retiring. This would be.
Rick
appropriation.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick's been there 21 years. He did our road crew. Gonna retire, and I think that's what he's got left. Sick, vacation, and time paid out.
Any questions on that? We'll make a motion to do both of those if we can. So,
I move that we go ahead and, the appropriation for the, workman's comp and for the jailer's balance of pay.
all right, moved by Tom Schaefer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Marilyn McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Chris.
All right, I have two additional appropriation requests here. One of them is for $28,412. That was we had an incident at the airport a couple months ago where a guy got caught in a crosswind and took out one of our position indicator lights. The cost for that was the $28,000, and that includes an FAA test flight, but that is a little subject to change with fuel prices and stuff because they fly in and actually check that. But we received an insurance check, and that money was deposited into the aviation fund, and this additional appropriation is to move that back into the runway light repair fund. So that money's already there.
Oh, okay.
And that's what that one's for.
Go ahead and take a motion to approve that one.
Move to approve.
All right, Tom Schaefer, move to approve. Mike Sprinkle seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, and the second one here is for $100,000. It is to move money into a newly created account to pay for Wolpert, who is our engineering and consulting firm that is working on our runway extension and taxiway reconstructions. This is for, to pay them for invoices that are not included in an FAA grant. We do get an FAA grants that pay for a lot of this, but this is to pay for invoices throughout the year that is not included in that.
So this question is, so with the runway extension, all that money is not an FAA grant, so they have their bucket of money, they need to appropriate it each time. So a lot of these invoices get sent down with nowhere to take it out of. And so that's what he's doing. Now, you have kind of a blanket cost there. Do you have an estimated breakdown of those costs?
It varies on the invoices. They send in the pay request. I get different ones. Some of them are FAA grant approved, and they're 100% covered by the grants. And then they have professional services that are not covered under the FAA grants for what they do. And those invoices actually vary. And I have one, well, there's a couple, one's for $26,000 and one's for something similar to that, 23, that I haven't sent in yet for that. And then we'll get more throughout the year as they do whatever they do, you know, the engineering firm, for what's not covered under the grants. And the way I understand it, the money we don't use at the end of the year will go back into the fund, so it's not like we're taking it and gonna keep it or anything.
Yeah, the first 26,000 was design on the runway extension, so that's one of them.
Yes, sir.
The next one with the 23,000, you see how it's adding up to that amount he wanted?
Yeah, it is, and and it's different every month depending on the services they provide. Like this month, they and we haven't been billed for that one yet, but they're taking bids on the taxiway reconstructions right now, and they've gotten the bids, and I can't remember the name of the lowest bidder, but Wolpert has that information, and they're determining whether or not he actually qualifies, the company actually qualifies to do the work we want, and of course we'll get billed for that also, and then more. So
That one should be in the grant, though, because that was,
most of it will be covered under the FAA grant. Some, I don't know if there are any services or not that are not covered under the
you'll
grant.
have some local matches that,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
part of that too, correct? You'll
Yes,
have
sir.
local matches
Yes.
for those grant funds.
Thank you, Matt.
Are we gonna have enough money in the aviation fund to cover the projected expenses for the project?
Right now, yes, yes.
Feel good about
Yes.
that? I'd move to approve that we go ahead and allocate the $100,000 from the aviation fund.
Motion by Tom Schaefer to appropriate 100,000 for the Wolpert Engineering and their fees, right? And
Yes.
state matching funds. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Tony Dungeon. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate your time today. I know it was a long day for you, so, yeah, my pleasure. Awesome, that was great. Spread the word. All right. Janice, good morning.
Guys, I'll have a copy of what I was requesting. This is,
Yeah, we do.
I'm asking for an additional appropriation from my clerk's record perpetuation fund. This is a computer that's going to work alongside of that Scan Pro equipment that I came to you guys before with. But I had to, I gave all the specifications to Dale, and he's helped me with getting the computer ordered and everything. The computer part is here, but the monitor is still out. So, anyway, I just need to move this money from that account to my computer equipment to pay for it.
Do I have a motion to approve for Janice?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mike Sprinkle makes the motion to approve these funds out of her perpetuation fund. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Marilyn McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Janice.
Thank you.
All right, cumulative bridge inspection, we have a fee proposal. This, Chris, this is the Bridge inspection fees.
$13,940, is that for half of the bridges or something like that? Don't they do half every other year?
13,940.
Oh, the tables turned.
Okay, gotcha. Good morning, Michael.
Morning.
Again.
That was an amendment to the bridge inspection. The state required more testing or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the SJCA, they that's what the new amount was, $13,000, just an amendment to the original contract.
We get a load rating for that.
Yep. So we get federal load ratings now, which is a rolling, or no, it's not a rolling load limit; it's a static load limit. So like if you had a grain cart, wherever that tonnage is, which is a lower tonnage, you park that grain cart on there with the rear axle with the single tires. That's what they're talking about. Not a rolling load limit like most every other bridges used to be rated at.
And I guess all this information's useful, isn't it? When we're all
Well,
done?
when you're used to load limits, up to 40 ton or whatever it is, hauling a semi across it, now you see a 13-ton load limit out there. Nobody understands what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I'm confused too, and I kind of understand it, but I don't. So.
But it's something we have to do.
Yeah, it is. It's required by the state.
Yeah.
So those load limit signs,
Like if you see a load limit sign is like 19 ton, which is an odd number, that's a static.
so is there a way we can put static on there too?
Now that just the new federal regulations is how they deem to be load rated.
Okay.
Because when you got a rolling load limit, it's different than a static load limit. Yeah.
Yep.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Mike Sprinkle to approve.
Second.
Second by Tony Pension. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is unanimous. Thank you, Michael. The next one is $50,000. Bill to cover Ice Miller for work on the Westgate bond payoff. There's some additional there, so $28,306 as well. And this is to cover additional expenses since the bond work is not complete.
So where are we at in that process? Are we about to get there, or is it ongoing?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I would like
You can
to-
tell me from there, I don't care.
Yeah, you're good.
You
Just
better-
let it fly.
So, one week ago, I spoke with the banks who were creating a release for that $4.2 million mortgage. That's supposed to be released. We haven't gotten that yet, to my knowledge, Patty. So, but a week ago, that was in process or near done. That's the rate limiting step. So I haven't seen the Ice Miller bill at all. I actually would like to see it, but I know that there was a lot of discussion about what needed to happen once that bond was paid off, the 2011 bonds. I don't know exactly what the amount is or the details, but I would be interested in seeing that. But to answer your question directly, we're waiting on a release.
That bill is available in the auditor's office for review, anyone that wants to see it.
Is that something we should review before payment? Everybody see? It's already done? Yeah. It's kind of already done, so it's already billable time,
Oh.
so.
What are some of the additional costs?
Well, I think it's anticipated, what would be the additional, just additional work to clear it, Patty, or?
That could be, so on the Westgate expenses, we have some administrative expenses and other things that come up, so it may be just trying to work ahead when we get a bill that we can pay it. If it's in excess of what is needed, then obviously it goes back into the cash bucket, so to speak.
In the future, any legal bills that we get or anything like this, can you just sign at the bottom before it comes through here? That- How about, it's already been done, but make a motion to approve, but you look at it first, and if you think it's fine, then go ahead. And in the future, you look at everything and initial it or whatever, that we know our county representation is fine before we cut a check.
Is that the motion?
That was a motion.
I'll second that. Because I sure can't repeat it.
Motion made by Tony Duncan, what he said, and seconded by Tom Schaefer.
Basically, just have,
It needs to be reviewed prior.
Needs to be reviewed
getting
prior.
it.
Yes.
just
Yeah.
initial it.
Make sure everything's the way it ought to be.
Yeah. We're not doing due diligence if we don't.
Right.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, the next one is $5,000 for consulting services for ARPA. This is to pay Barnes and Thornburg invoice for the ARPA guidance, and also to prepare for future invoicing eligible to be paid. So this was the contract we have with Barnes and Thornburg for their services.
I move to approve that.
All right, motion made by Tom Schaefer to approve,
I'll second.
second by Darren Holder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The second appropriation for ARPA is $3,234,000. This is to move it into another account, Patty, so that we can pay bills out of it.
Correct. At the time when we're preparing for ARPA committee meeting tomorrow, and we're trying to get that money, there were some things that we thought were gonna be expended, that may be, tabled right now today, some new information that the ARPA committee is gonna be reviewing tomorrow. So we can table that, and then we can report back to you. I don't think there's any other bills that's current right now that we are due to have to pay. And with the new information, it will come back to council with full disclosure on what the proposals are gonna be and how that money's gonna be appropriated, or needed to be appropriated, so.
Do I have a motion to table?
So moved.
I have a motion to table by Tom Schaefer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Marilyn McCullough. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. In your packets, you have Joint Parks and Recreation information and Board of Aviation and a fund balance. Any other questions, anything from the public? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved by Tony Duncan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Tom Schaefer. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, everyone.
Do we have to wait 5 minutes?
We'll go sign. And we'll sign some papers while we do that.